We shall move on to the next topic here. We got a $20 super chat, so I must read it. I'm sorry, it's a Rumble rant over there. Mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. I'm the jerk star who stood you up, and I don't even have a good excuse. Still really looking forward to listening to this conversation. That's right, Bear did replace somebody today. He replaced, and that was from Grizzly Beardo. Grizzly Beardo, I appreciate you didn't have to pay $20 to apologize, but I do appreciate that. And like I said, sir, we will try to get you on again in the future for another topic that may interest you. So again, thank you to Grizzly Beardo for the $20, and thank you to Bear for doing the emergency backup on this one.
No worries, man. Happy to help. I thought I was on this panel, and then I'm like, didn't I volunteer for this? And then you were like, well, no, but someone didn't make it. You want to come? Yeah, all right. That's weird, but yeah, sure.
Karma. All right, let's. Where are we now? We are on the Art of Campaign Creation, Developing Adventures, and now we're going to start with Bear. Now we've started. We've hit the overview. We hit the campaign. Now we're going to start to narrow it down into the adventure side of it. So, how do you create engaging challenges for your players? As somebody who sat in this game, he doesn't know how to do this at all.
No clue. I'm lost. I used the Neil Gaiman technique. I once heard Neil Gaiman talk about writing, and he said he treats writing like he treats going on vacation. There's a bunch of places he wants to visit while he's there, but how he gets there is going to be organic to the days as they go by. So I take the same mentality. There's a number of set pieces I want to see happen, or events that are going to occur, or places that are going to be visited, but how we get there is going to be up to the players to decide how we go, and I'm going to react to them as we go through, and I'm going to, because I want to see where they want to see. I want to see what they want to do. I want to see where they're going to go and do stuff, right? So I follow that, and that's what I do. And yes, of course, Bio Kiddo, that's exactly what I was talking about. You're 100% right. Well done. And,
please not bring that
you've
up.
also spoiled the surprise for Malachi and Max Liao, who had that coming up in the next session. So thanks a lot for that, man. Jeez, spoilers. I guess I'll have to put it somewhere else. But it's if you overplan, you will underdeliver. If you let the players guide you, you will over-deliver every time, because you'll be reacting to their choices, their decisions, and their actions, which will always be more engaging for them because it's based out of the things they do. If Dumbass hadn't dove into a pool and disrupted the Naiad within it, that whole event would never have happened. But Dumbass did, and he disturbed the Naiad, and the Naiad decided she was keeping him because he was now hers.
I kiss a demon.
So that's what I do.
You know what? I'm not going to ask you this one because I already know your answer to this. I'm going to ask you, how do you introduce unexpected twists in your adventures? And you know what? You actually have another one that we ran into that I think hits this out of the park. So,
which one would that be? Would that be the?
I don't want. I want you to answer the question, then I'll tell you what I think it is later. So, but how do you introduce them? How do you introduce unexpected twists in your adventure?
Well, it depends on what the twist is going to be, and sometimes the twist is going to happen organically in the moment, where my brain is going to go, do this, and I go, oh yeah, okay, brain, that sounds great, let's do that. And other times I've fed them a red herring. I love that. feeding, slap. You know what I mean? And that's a lot of fun too. So you can go either way on that. You can either prepare it, but if you're going to prepare it, do the groundwork. Make them invest. Make them love that NPC until that NPC reveals themselves to be the Comte Saint Germain, or or look at the moment as it's happening organically, see what may or may not be working in that moment, and then M. Night Shyamalan them. Just what a twist! It's coming, and boom, off you go to the race. And listen to their chatter; they will give you the best ideas.
Fact.
That's what I say. Does that now? What were you going to say, Max?
Just real quick before I move on, it was the quote unquote dream sequence that everybody got angry about because at the end we could have felt bad about that, like, oh, that was just dumb, but no, it actually made complete sense for the setup. Even if you did that out of the back of your brain and it was a stupid dream sequence, the way it tied into everything, okay, it was an illusion, not a dream sequence, but you know how people were taking that. It still fit into the place and made us go WTF, and we were engaged with it the entire time. So
I agree. No, it was really good. It really worked well. And I'll never tell.
Magician never shares his secrets, huh? All right. So Malachi, we're over to you now. Going back to the original question is, how do you create engaging challenges for your players?
Basically, my whole setup is, I try and create a living, breathing world where there are things happening that the players can get involved in. Their action is going to determine how the difficulty changes. If somebody's got some evil scheme going on, the players are getting involved, he's going to be like, well, wait a minute. You got some guys causing me some trouble. I'm going to have to do something about this. If they would have left him alone, the guy would have kept going. Or like, say they want to go investigating this dungeon that comes every so many years. What are they going to do? Because they're going to have a limited time. What are they going to do to prepare to go into this dungeon and get what they want or need before it's gone? They're going to have to make preparations to make it easy as possible for them. If they don't do anything, it's going to be hard.
Okay. So how do you ensure adventures cater to both combat and non-combat scenarios or characters? I stopped him.
Good one.
I think a lot of it in the fight.
Wait, what?
This is a combat scenario, so Malachi is sitting there thinking, we got it. Inside joke from the game.
Never living that down, Malachi.
I mean, I try and mix the encounters up best as I can. But if the players just keep going in combat mode, I mean, sometimes there's nothing you can do.
But I mean, there are some encounters, whether you use a reaction table or you just or I mean, there are just some things you come across that aren't meant to be combative, and hopefully they don't turn that way. But characters, are characters.
One thing I really like about some of the old modules and their random tables is it's not all you encounter this, or you see something, you hear something. You get the characters interested in what's going in the environment around them, rather than just monster A, monster B.
Okay. All right, Jade, down to you. Same question. How do you create engaging challenges for your players?
When I'm doing challenges or when I'm making them, I'm taking into account where are my players at? What are they doing? What have they done? Did they smart off to the king? Did they burn down the orphanage? What have they done?
What groups have you been playing with?
These are just minor examples. They're not examples of standard play. Whatever they have done, I take that into account. Who are they to the world? Who wants them dead? Does anybody want them dead? And where are they in the world? Are they in caverns, hiding or exploring? What are the denizens of the caverns? So, I'm going to take a kind of a macro perspective of what's going on in the given moment, and decide from there what the challenge is, because it's going to be appropriate to where they are and what they have done and the decisions they have made to that point. This gets back to the build a world from their actions around them. Whatever they've done, that becomes canon, that becomes part of the world. And I think that's one of the more important aspects is, them realizing, oh, we accidentally burnt down that orphanage. Oh, we smarted off to the king. Whatever the case might be, they have to live with those consequences. And that's the other aspect of it is all actions have consequences. So whatever encounter they get into, whatever challenge they get into, it is going to likely be a direct consequence to something they have chosen to do. Do they have to draw steel on all enemies or all perceived threats? No, they don't. They can try to talk their way out of literally anything. I'm open to that. If they want to talk their way out of, a gelatinous cube eating them, I'm going to say good luck. But, the option is there for them if they would like to try that.
I speak gelatin.
Well, you are.
There you go.
You are a cube rancher.
That's you know what? That is my goal. When my character retires, he's going to be a gelatinous cube rancher. That is correct, sir.
But the other aspect of that is most of my sessions are going to be planned at the end of the current session. I'm going to have tribunal at the end of every session. That tribunal is, what did you like? What did you not like? What are you excited for? And where do you think your characters are going? And what do you think your characters are going to do next, given all that has happened this session? And I'm going to take notes based on what they say. As Malachi said, take what they give you and use it. And, because it's relevant to what they are doing and what they have done, it's going to stay relevant to the entirety of the campaign. And it's still going to build a world from their action.
That was me who said that, not Malachi.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I
agreed with him.
Sorry.
Malachi stares off into space with a
so I'm sorry. Bear, you said.
No, I'm just being a dick.
So what is your approach? And I actually saved this one. This is the worst follow-up question ever, but I hate to say it, but because of the game that you like, it actually fits perfectly.
Sure.
What is your approach to balancing encounters to suit your campaign?
Fuck balance.
Yeah.
Wait. Bear, I get it from you, and I get it from Malachi. Jade being a 3X player,
Mm-hmm.
how do you get by with that?
So again, not every scenario has to be an encounter scenario or has to be a combat scenario. Not every scenario has to have the players stand there and take a beating until they win. They have the option of running away. They have the option of talking their way out. Yes, I am a 3X player. I've played 3.0, 3.5, Pathfinder 1E, and I've enjoyed them. I really have enjoyed them. And I used to be the min-maxing McMurder hobo who would stand there and take a beating and give it out just the same. And I used to be that power gamer who's like, oh yeah, no, we have to fight everything that moves. I have since learned better. I have since learned that there is a better way. I admit so. I mean, but no, as far as encounters go, I'm not going to take the time to make sure the challenge reading or the CR is correct for the players anymore. They either pass or they fail. If what is in that area is a adult red dragon and they're level 5, they're not going to be able to take it on. They can try if they'd like, or they can try to negotiate with whatever loot they have on them. But that's the other aspect is I have moved on from WotC edition D&D. I've moved to Index Card RPG, which doesn't have these ideas of balance or levels. There's not even levels. It's milestone based was progression. Where I mean you get
explode. You said milestone.
I mean it's the concept of you gain powers or gain loot and you lose loot and you might upgrade a power here or there. And it's supposed to be appropriate to whatever it is you're doing and wherever you are at as a character.
Okay. Yeah, we're in the open section now. Bear, go ahead.
Another crazy idea is you can stop fucking playing D&D and play a real game.
Yeah.
That doesn't have classes and levels and niche protection and all that nonsense where characters grow organically through their actions. Like, I don't know, BRP. Or even Palladium. Mm-hmm. Palladium is less class protective than fucking D&D is. D&D will always be, and this is one of the things, you talk about balance, you talk about CRs, you talk about all that stuff. This is because D&D is, and always will be from what I can see, because the people that love it for that, and that's something that they love, training wheel role-playing. It's I got my class, I got my stuff, this is what I do, I've got my spells, I've got this, I got this many hit points, I got this much armor class. And I have never, in almost 40 years of gaming now, coming up on next year will be my 40th year anniversary of gaming, I have never seen people act like that in games that aren't class level D&D clones or stuff like that. Even people who act like that in a D&D game, you get them into a Call of Cthulhu game or a basic role playing or a Palladium game or a Arrow Flight or whatever the hell you want, and they don't act like that. D&D breeds this mentality, this murder hobo, kill everything, talk shit to the king mentality that I just don't I don't understand. It's now become so common. I think it's a feature, not a bug. Like, I don't know. Like, I just don't get it, but it's there, and it drives me up the fucking wall.
I personally
concludes
think
my one shit on D&D for tonight, guys. I won't do any
no,
more.
I think that comes from computer games, though. I don't think that was a D&D fault necessarily. I personally, just in my experience, the more people played computer games, the more they played that way.
Could be.
Yeah.
I would agree with that assessment.
And then D&D is usually your entry into the hobby.
Yeah. But, I mean, there's an advantage to class-based games. We're not talking about that today. I got to move on. I can dive down that rabbit hole, so I'm not good. So, before we go on to the next... Oh, anything else you guys want to talk about with each other in terms of anything anybody said on here? Ask any questions, confront anything, sell somebody stupid? I don't know. Not me.
I'll call Malachi stupid just because, why not?
Jeepers creepers.
The option's on the table. Hey, Malachi, you're dumb. But apparently we're twins. So I don't know how the fuck people think we're twins.
I call myself...
you could put two of Malachi in me, I think, probably. But, all right, we're twins.
I call myself the Chinese knockoff Avenger Satanis.
No. You're a non-union Mexican bear. That's what you are, sir. You are Senor Urso.
All right. Well, before we move on, we're gonna knock out some of the chat. Again, unless somebody wanted to say something about the actual topic.
No, we're good, man. I think it's going well.
Yeah.
I think the thing is that we're all pretty much not disagreeing with each other, but we're not agreeing with each other. We're just approaching it from different points of view.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I also like to leave it open in case you have a question, like, hey, can you clarify something or whatever? But I think you all are actually giving really good answers where that isn't necessary as well. I just want to make sure the time is there. So, George, I always get his name wrong, Egarog. We're going to go with that. For Fantasy Town, you can find some intact medieval real towns like Carcassonne, France. Mm-hmm. Isn't that a board game, Carcassonne?
Yes.
It's actually based on the region of Carcassonne, France.
Carcassonne.
Yep. Nerd.
And there's an E on the end, guys. There's an E on the end.
I own the game. My wife loves
Carcassonne. You got the E. As the resident French speaker, I'll just let you know that for free. If there was no E, Carcassonne.
So, Nerdy Yoker says, we now know why Max Leal doesn't drink on the show. He gets blitzed beforehand. Yes, I do, because, I figure if nobody's going to give me that $50 super chat, so I'm just going to drink on my own. I don't need you or your $50. There you go. Six Nation 31 King says, Max belting out Queensryche while sauce isn't a defect. It's a hidden feature. You are correct, sir.
Hey, man, you and me, let's go do Silent Lucidity at karaoke.
You probably sing better than me, too. I'm just no. Screw that.
Okay, fine. Whatever.
If you're going to do it, we're going to start from the beginning. It's going to be Operation Mindcrime from beginning to end, sir. So RPG Dad says, the orphanage was a cover for a death cult.
That's
Here we go.
Maybe.
Do it.
Yeah, that's right. Can't prove me wrong. They're all dead.
They're all dead.
It might have been recruitment for the Assassin's Guild. Who knows?
Yeah.
Let's just have the necromancer raise some of the dead orphans and go, see, look, death cult.
Right. Hey, this is actually a good idea. Take the players to an escape room.
I have thought about doing that a couple times.
I know people who have done that. I hate the idea because they make me feel stupid because I overthink everything so much to the point that the most obvious answer that you should do is the one I skip.
Occam's razor.
Yep. And Law Dog, he's got a bunch in here, so but they're mostly on the Rumble side. Says D&D has basically become a pen and paper video game at this point. Thank you very much for the $5. Again, not to insult anybody or open up any wounds here, but I really feel that was 3E in Pathfinder. It really plays like a video game. And if that's what you want, there you go. You got your game out there that does it. That's not what I want. So
I would actually argue 4E does it more so than 3E.
Yeah, but nobody plays 4E. Nobody knows what that is.
Fair.
I love 4E.
Well, and that's also where, the Basic Expert got his started as well. But I'm just, nobody knows 4E. It's like when people say, the twee black books. Nobody uses those. And if they are, never listen to a word they have to say.
7E Gamma World.
7E Gamma. Okay, moving on to the Rumble side. Law Dog for $10 says, didn't understand the negative reaction to the shared illusion during the Albana game. I thought it was a nice touch and very well done. So did I. Mm-hmm. Actually, if it would have been a dream, I probably would have been a little like, come on. But the illusion side of it just it made perfect sense for the nonsense. By the way, again, he didn't call me a dumbass for that one, but let's just go there. This dumbass got us into. Can't go anywhere in his game. Can't jump in water. Can't walk into empty forts. Can't walk into villages with hot chicks in them. Come on!
I'd like to point out, in my defense, you were clearly warned you're going into Escaine now. Escaine is the former High Kingdom and is now a wilderness ruled by magic monsters and warlords. It is a dangerous place, and people don't go in there for a reason. And every fucking day you're in there, something bad happens to you guys. And you're like, you're fucking mean. I'm not mean. I warned you in advance.
I just want to remind you that
tourism flyer.
I'm playing effectively an immature character with an intelligence of 7 and well, using D&D terms, a wisdom of 5. So you know what? you set me up for failure. Well, I set me up for failure. I rolled the dice. All right, moving on. Law Dog for another $5 says, "What's this balance you speak of?" Well, apparently nobody here believes in balance, so we don't speak of it. And then he says for another $10 here, "Every obstacle encounter, I am ready for the 3 paths that the characters usually take. 1, fight through it. 2, think, talk through it. And 3, break contact to avoid, go around it." Mm-hmm. My definition is just a touch different, but I agree with that completely in terms of there's always 3 ways and you can do more, that they can handle a situation. Yeah, exactly. And I personally think that's the way it should be, so that they don't get trapped. So if one of them fails, that they're, SOL.
Yep, I agree with that.
I talk for $5. Ethane is the king of wandering away from the party. See what I did there, king? Yeah, I see it. Leave me alone.
I see it.
Well, nobody likes. Nobody. You know what? I quit. This adventure's with you. I'm out. It's actually fun. No, it's really fun to play that dynamic with Ethane. But it's time to move on to our next question. And thank you everybody for the super chat. So I can't do math easily. So 20, 30, 45, and 18. You guys do the math on that. But basically, just a little over $60. So, all right, or yeah, whatever. We'll figure it out later. But we're getting close. We're over halfway there to a potential giveaway in segment 5. So starting at the top again with Malachi, sir. What are your strategies for linking multiple adventures together cohesively? So last we were just talking about an adventure, but now we want to mash them together so that they make sense.
Normally I'm gonna go listen to what the players had to say. I'm like everybody has said before, listen to the players. I think a lot of times they can come up with better ways to link things together than you can.
Oh, just that's it. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I have done that so many times, just listening to the players, that I just let their imagination run wild and steal what I think is best.
Okay, so what techniques do you use to incorporate the things that they do or their backstories into the campaign?
Just maybe like if it's an NPC from their background, let's have them appear to maybe give them a hand with something, or if they want to get in touch with one. That's all I got at the moment.
Well, do you have an example? I mean, I can come back to you. We can do it during your. Okay, during the.
Oh wait, no,
okay.
No, I remember one now. I was running a World of Darkness game, Chronicles of Darkness, a new World of Darkness, and one guy was playing a hunter, and his wife was estranged. Him and his wife were estranged, right? So I ended up having his wife be a mage to come mess with the group.
How do you take it?
He was after I did it, he was like, "Dude, that was so cool."
Okay.
Yeah, he liked it.
All right, Jade. Same question for you.
Yes,
what
sir.
are your strategies for linking multiple adventures together cohesively?
So normally my inciting incident, whatever it might be, is typically going to be a theme throughout the game. And it's typically boiled down to an antagonist. Who is my antagonist? What is their goal? What are they trying to achieve? And why do the PCs keep finding their way into the plan or into the plot of this NPC who wants to accomplish something. What is it that they're trying to accomplish? So, and what I'm doing is, it might be the lieutenants, the minions thereof of this one antagonist, or a group of antagonists. And what I'm doing is, as the players do the fireside chats and give me NPCs and data to work with, I'm going to find ways of linking this antagonist to them through 2, 3, maybe even 4 degrees of separation. You remember that I don't know, thief who came into town and robbed everyone blind. Well, they happened to have a lair in the area, and when you finally found it, you found all this paraphernalia for or this iconography that belongs to this cult. Well, this cult is going to now lead them to the next plot point or next major encounter point with a group or with the antagonists that I have already designed and their plans. Now, what are the plans? PCs don't get to know that. Only the game master gets to know what the plans are until
that sounds
the players
unfair.
have discovered. Well, until the players have discovered enough or unearthed enough to start piecing the pieces of it together themselves. Once the players can get a good idea of what this guy is doing, then they can start striking out and hitting him before he has time to react, before he has time or they have time to go do something about their goal. They can start being more proactive and preventative in their adventure.
I'm going to quickly open up this. I'm going to ask a question here. I'm going to open up for everyone. One of the hangups that I used to have when I was a younger dungeon master, game master, and something that I literally focus on is I don't want to screw the players over by knowing all their plans, but I want to give them a good challenge by listening to them plan and so forth, and not change like, oh man, they're gonna just completely destroy everything I have here. No, when I was younger, I'd be like, no, I can't. I just heard what they're gonna do. I need to change this up, and I can't do this because that means they defeat me, and I'm better than them. No. I actually struggle with that. Do you have so when those plans, when the characters are talking, your player characters are talking, do you ever go in your head like, uh-oh, I need to make a change here, or do you let it ride?
Let it ride.
Let it ride, baby.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way I am now, but I mean, I made mistakes when I was a younger game master,
So did I.
The only way I would change anything is if the villain has a spy in their midst. That's the
Or
only
scrying.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I maybe scrying.
I pretty much knew that's what the answer was going to be, but I just wanted to put it out there so people could see it on video later. It's like, yeah, I mean, like, look, if the players are about to defeat your challenge and you know that they've got a good plan, man, give them the credit for making that plan.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. You're not there to kill the players, and you guess what? Or the characters, you're going to have another chance. They'll be back next week for you to try to
And
put another challenge in front of them. Yeah. Go ahead.
Like I said earlier, the players are just as much going to affect the challenge with their actions and inaction.
I mean, lift the players up and let them be on that pedestal. Let them be the big damn heroes they want to be and feel successful in what they've done. Let them feel accomplished, and then and then vanish. Vanish into the shadows, and like, oh, okay, so you messed with that plan, but did you get plans D through F? I see you've messed with my plan C, but you forgot about D through F and about plot M. So just because the players can ruin one of the antagonist's plans doesn't mean they can ruin all of them. The best villains have so many irons in the fire and so many directions that they can go that players can't necessarily permanently derail their plans. Yeah, they can throw a wrench into the works, and yeah, they can, maybe offset the timing of the villain's plans, but likely that villain has more going than just that one thing, or they should. So yeah, if my players discover the and ruin before the NPC or the antagonists can act on it, they get there and ruin the plan. Good for them. That's awesome. Now, if my villain is intelligent, which hopefully most of them are, because I don't do mustache twirlers. I like having more like chess players as my villains, people who are like 10 moves ahead. They're going to have somebody on their team scrying, and once they become aware of the player characters, they're going to be under tabs. They're going to be scryed on. They're going to be spied on at given times, and the antagonist is going to eventually become aware of their plots and their desires to interrupt whatever it is they're doing. And then they're going to start throwing red herrings. So they're going to start throwing dead end areas at them. They're like, oh yeah, you think that I'm moving in that direction. I'm going to let you continue to think I'm moving in that direction. I'm going to pivot and go this other direction now. But I'm not going to do it all the time. I'm only going to do it occasionally. It might be a percentile roll that they're being watched at that moment. It's not going to be an all the time thing, because honestly, the NPCs don't have the resources for that.
So Barry, I'm going to give you a twofer. Please follow up with this, and then I'm going to ask you the next question.
Okay, my only follow-up for this is when Jade said, plans B through J and what have you, is I've got my country's 500th anniversary to plan, my wedding to arrange, my wife to murder, and Gilder to frame for it. I'm swamped. And that's how villains should be. Now, what's the question that you wanted to ask?
No, we're just going back to the question, which, hold on, I scrolled away. There we go. How do you wait. Nope, that was the last question. What are your strategies for linking multiple adventures together cohesively?
Hello, friend. Stay a while and listen. I remember that guy said there's always 7. In that adventure, first night, this bounty hunter comes in needing help because he's got to catch this evil cleric. So they accompany him on the mission, and the bounty hunter gets killed. And by the time they get to the final confrontation with the evil cleric, they arrive just in time as he's teleporting out to the big city from his little monster base that he's working out of. And they're like, damn it, he got away. We have to, and they just decide, we're going after him. That's it. He's gone to the city. We're going to race to the city. And the entire campaign became them heading to the city. And then they get to the city after 6-7 adventures along the road of all the events they went through that got them there. And then they find Zarek's evil underwater sewer base, and they go to attack them, and they're like, Zarek, finally we've caught you, haha. And he looks at them and goes, who in bloody hell are you? Because he never met them in the cave. He never saw them in the cave. He had no idea and they were blaming him for everything that went wrong on the road. This is obviously the minions of Zarek fucking with us. This guy had no fucking clue who they were. I let them link the adventures. I let them build that one. And it was epic and fun. Otherwise, Pendrick cycle, right? Prophecies, legends, links, that can help too. But, if you want to do Monster of the Week, do Monster of the Week. Or, hello. Oh my God, what are you doing here? Hang on, sorry. Oh, I have a visitor from the big cat who never comes to visit. It's Misty.
That is a mighty big cat.
This is Misty. This is Misty the Giant. Anyway, or if you're going to do the Monster of the Week and a plot, take the X-Files routine. Mm-hmm. Every 4th episode is plot. The 3 in between are Monster of the Week, except when they're not. That's my answer, sir.
So what methods do you use to keep the players invested in the campaign setting and adventures?
Keep the reward 10 feet ahead of them.
So donkey and carrot? So we are donkeys to you?
Yep, that's right. Yes, sir.
So I'm going to open this one up to everybody. I'm going to flip the script a little bit on this. And what about people who are either more used to or prefer a more sandbox style game? So there kind of isn't a donkey carrot situation, and you're expecting them to go east, they go west. You're expecting them to go into the dungeon, they go through the desert. Whatever it happens to be.
Given exactly how I feel about sandboxes, I'm going to go to the bathroom while these guys answer this one.
I'm guessing it's negative.
I don't care for them, no.
Okay. Nobody's got anything on that?
Okay. I'll go on
ahead.
Then. So if the players decide, okay, we know that cave is going to lead to somebody dying. We don't want to go in there. That's fine. They don't have to go in there. My antagonist's plots move forward.
Yeah.
Time doesn't stand still for the players. It doesn't. The world is going to march forward onto existence. And that is a sandbox. if the adventure, is pointing, if all signs are pointing them in this direction and they don't want to go there, that's fine. They don't have to go there. I'm not going to force them. But that does mean they're going to have to give something up. There are consequences to inaction, and those consequences could become dire. If that was the third thing that had to happen for this antagonist to see their plans to fruition, and they only have 2 more objective points, things are going to start looking dire pretty quick. But I'm not gonna force my players in that direction. I used to be the story game master where everything had to be a plot point, everything had to follow a rigid storyline. I've given up on that. One, it drives me nuts because it's almost impossible to force organically, and 2, I just find it unfun anymore to do that. So if the players don't want to follow the main plot of whatever's happening, that's fine. The main plot is not that. The main plot is them. They are the main plot. Whatever they decide to do, that's the plot. That's what we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ty, did you want to add to that? Because I've got something to say if you don't.
Yeah, I mean, like Jade said, time is going to move. Things are going to happen. I think of is it Dead Rising, the video game where it's in the mall with the zombies? You cannot save everybody in that game. You're going to end up making choices. You can save some people, you can save others. That's how I look at the sandbox.
Okay, I generally agree with what Jade said. So what he basically explained is the world keeps moving is what I call timelines. I don't draft out literally every little thing, and some timelines come, some timelines go, but that's actually how I do it as well. I kind of start them off with what I would consider the main plot of the world would be, so to speak. Usually they can't even touch it. It's something that's so far above them, they need to get to that point, but it's overarching the world, like a new empire is starting to take over or something, or a new religion is forming, whatever. They're still rescuing kittens from trees, but they get, this addresses them more and more as time goes on. Now they can choose to ignore it. They can choose to stop it. They can choose to join it. Don't care. And other many things are happening during that time. As you said, the world is moving on. And the way I always look at it is if what they do gets to 0, they lose. If it goes to infinity, they win. But there's always something to do even after that. There are little things. Do they have time for side quests? Absolutely. But if they want to tackle this, it's going to be on whatever achievements they make. Maybe they slow the bad guys down to a certain point, and then that gives them time for more side quests. Maybe they keep losing or keep effing up. Now they don't have. Look, if you do these side quests, you may become more powerful, but the empire is going to win, so to speak. So, but I agree with that completely, and I love the fact that you also, as Malachi is saying, you can't stop everything. Literally, the world is going to move on, and you good job. You rescued the grandma, you saved her, you walked her across the street so she didn't get run over by the horse. But while you were doing that, somebody in the background, an anvil fell on his head. That's right, I went there. But you get the idea, something, you can't save everybody, and even if you do certain side quests, other side quests are going to, oh man, we went to go scour this dungeon, but it's already been cleaned out. Yep. Now you're not getting the Sword of Doom. You only have the Armor of Awesomeness.
Hey. I collected all the bottle caps. Come on.
Right. The Acme Anvil. That's right. All right. Anything that you guys want to ask, debate, whatever before?
Sandboxes are dumb because they're not realistic or fun. They're just dumb. Sorry.
You know what? That's a great commercial for next week's show, which is going to be about railroading versus sandbox.
And again, I always say the same thing, like the video on my channel. What if there was another way? The third path you can.
Actually, I have 3 people on. One is pro sandbox, one is pro railroad, and one is in the middle. So, and yes, there are always other ways.
Things on that one. Anyway.
Yep. Yeah. I was trying to get the basic expert, but he couldn't do it. I'm not trying to make Mages amusing. Sounds like he's second best, but because basic expert is also 0 prep, I wanted him to go against Heathen Dog. All All right, so before we move into our next segment, which is creating memorable PCs, let's see if we've got some chat here to look at. I think I've started a few things. GM Cody says, my adventures are what shit I'm making up tonight based on what shit the players do.
Having been a player in Cody's game, yes, this is true. And that player was called Hungar.
Well, that's a chaotic neutral game then.
Oh my god.
Love you, Hungar. All right. Let's see, you've got a super chat from Law Dog. Thank you very much again, Law Dog, for the super chats. Where are we? We're at $23.29. Well, let's make it $25 plus whatever I said it was over there. 20, 40, 55. Wait, did I say 65 before? 20, 40? No, 20, 30, 40. My God. My bad math does not mean we have a contest sooner. So 20, 30, 40, 45 plus 25 is, you do the math. Apparently stream math is a thing. I can't do it. So all right.
45.
70. 45 plus 25 is 70.
There we go. See,
Yes.
There we go. Thank you very much. Law Dog for $5 says, always let it ride. If they earn the win, let them have it. As a young game master, no. Because it's me versus them. As a adult game master, yes. You might even disappoint you sometimes. Sometimes it's awesome. Sometimes it really is disappointing because you either put work into it or you're like, oh man, I really thought I had this one resolved better. Nah, congratulate them for the win. You got another chance later.
Have you ever seen Rock and Rule? The animated film Rock and Rule? So there's the villain of the thing is a guy named Mock, who's based on basically Bowie kind of ish, and he's like Lou Reed does his singing voice and stuff like that. And he's very evil. And at one point in time, what? Yes?
Is that the one with the mice?
Yes, well, the animals. It's all anthropomorphic animals in post.
I have seen it.
And he's trying
Good
to use
film.
the girl, her voice, to summon the demon because she is the key to open the portal. And she refuses to do everything I want. And they cut to this scene of him having trashed and screamed and yelled. And then the light finds him sitting in his cupboard, surrounded by his costume. He's like, she really pisses me off. And that's when you let it ride for the players. When they make the villain so mad, he breaks some shit and just goes, I fucking hate them. You know, like that's when you give them their win.
Okay.
So, Eva, long time no see.
I normally don't do this, but I'm going to do it here. But you guys have the option to answer or pass. I don't care because we do need to go on to the next segment. He didn't super chat it, but I'm going to let it go on in here because he gave me a good compliment earlier. You know what? I'm easily my ego's easily
assuaged.
Yeah.
I honestly believe that setting trumps system in all cases. So if you're using a system that is not compatible, it's not compatible with your setting. Thank you. Go ahead and find a system that is better for your setting. Hence why Albana is switching to BRP from Palladium, because Palladium is not a good fit for the type of campaign we're doing. Palladium would be a great fit for different ones, but in this one we need something more meritocratus, I guess would be the term. I don't know.
Talking about that, Bear, I've got 3 appointments tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be the day that I tried to make my character. I really am going to need you to make the character.
That's okay. The old geek who's going to do it for you.
That's fine. I have people coming over to check stuff in my yard. So
we're not playing for another week, right?
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah. It's the 10th.
That's how
it was tomorrow or nothing. So
I would say setting must trump system. If the system is dictating your setting go a different way, it is the wrong system for that setting.
I actually agree with that 100%. I've always said, what does it say at the back of the first edition DMG? Game first, campaign second, players third. I disagree with that. I say setting first, game second, players third.
Yeah.
What's funny about that?
Setting, players, system.
So we might actually be saying the same thing. Players need to conform to the game.
Yes, but the players are what makes the game fun. Therefore, you should be putting their fun as an important.
That I agree with. But I'm talking when I see this, I'm like, well, I want to do something that would be outside the scope of the game, or would break the game, or that goes against the spirit of the game. Well, right, but if you've played long enough, and I know you have, you've seen the players that do that stuff. So that's why players third. All right, so Malachi, do you want to answer this question? How does the campaign creation? How does the campaign creation, which is probably for a long time, depend on the chosen system, providing a good ground for advancement without breaking the system? Again, he didn't
What's the-
super chat it. You don't have to answer if you don't want to, but
I mean,
the
Bear
opportunity.
nailed it. System setting Trump's system.
Okay. And Jade?
I would agree. The setting is probably the most important part of the campaign. And then your players' actions and reactions are probably second to that. And then the rule set that you use, like, you can hack it, mod it, do whatever you want with it to make it fit your setting. You know, the rules are there to give you guidelines. They don't have to be these, set in stone. You must do this always to be able to, cast fireball. You have to do a jig. No, you can rewrite the rules as you see fit. It's your game and it's your players' game. Make the game fun for the players. Make the game fun for you. Setting, however, is something that you set. You are the game master. It is your setting. Your players are in that setting, and that should always be the case. Setting, then players, then rule set.
Yep, can't agree with that. But all right, let's move on. I've seen too many players try to break games by going that route.
At that point, you tell them no. You're the game master. You can tell them no.
But to be very clear, and a lot of people who know me, this is both, some people love it, some people it's really frustrating. I absolutely, and this is in all aspects of my life, this is why my lawyer friends really get frustrated with me. I do not believe in the letter of the law. I believe in the spirit of the law, the intent of the law. And I do that in all things. And if I think that what you're doing, well, the law says I can do this, I don't care. You know that's not the intent, so the answer is no. And vice versa. So next, again, the next segment is going to be on creating memorable NPCs. But before I do that, I want to put this on the screen. And by the way, the link in there is wrong. Look at the link in the description. But I want to just remind everybody that the charity we support is the Wounded Warrior Project, a national nonpartisan organization whose mission is to honor and empower wounded warriors. Please refer to the video description link for where you can make your hopefully tax-deductible donation. And as always, like, subscribe, share to not just here, because I'm guessing if you're watching, you're already cool enough to have subscribed here, but to all the other folks that are on this panel, and you can find their channels or Substacks in the description of this video as well.